as we get into game number 1.
Yeah, we're seeing that Arkdee on the superhero tag is going to be turning it around, trying just to lay on the pressure and get some early advantage from Drewish. Unfortunately, a missed input on that F smash, and that's going to cost him dearly as we see Arkdee, one of the best in Michigan at abusing the corner and keeping someone in there.
Absolutely, and so far Drewish maintaining center stage.
Yeah, both of them done a very good job trying to look for their openings, and now we're going to see a reversal of the situation as we are almost dead even in percents here.
Oh, and there's a lot of smash attacks coming out early from Arkdee, or sorry, from Drewish.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Likely just some missed inputs, likely looking for just some short hop fairs. But we're going to see Drewish try to take the lead here. And like I said before, the last time these two played was in the Legends Losers quarterfinals, where it went the distance in 5 games. So these two are very, very evenly matched, although Arkdee does have the history winning between in 16-2 of their last sets. But we're going to see Drewish take that early stock with the call out with the up tilt.
Okay, so first stock goes in Drewish's favor, but what do you want to see from Arkdee in the ways of changing up and getting this comeback going?
Yeah, so like we just saw there, Arkdee just able to keep the pressure on in the corner. That's how Arkdee has gotten a lot of his wins. We saw in LTUX, specifically against Symphonies, a big thing of Arkdee's game is that he has some of the best corner pressure in the Midwest, able to constantly keep someone in the corner, get a bunch of damage, and find those kills. Drewish, we saw in the Butterkicks game that he finds a lot of his kills, especially off the top with that up air. He's very, very good at hunting for that and hunting for his win con. So these two play, very, very similar, like you said, but the way that they end the game, so to speak, is very, very different.
Yeah, we've seen that. I believe Drewish is the one who's the big fan of going for up smash at ledge with the big laser, and Arkdee as well really loves platform cancel. This is going to be a far away recovery. Solid back air. Drewish in order to take this, maintain the lead.
Yeah, we're seeing Arkdee do a really, really good job at keeping Drewish in the corner. Both of the kills have come off of a back air. One was from the drop down, and the other, just from calling out the neutral get up. But we're going to see Arkdee start to lay on more and more pressure as Drewish starts to pile up that percent.
All that just came from a missed tech on the platform. Not what you're looking for Drewish. Now maybe turning things around a little bit, but you still got to keep up the corner pressure.
Yeah, Drewish able to take it back, saying, I'm going to trade my back air for yours. And these two are just so good at keeping the pressure on one another.
Hopefully that doesn't become a trend as the set progresses, these smash attacks, F smashes from Drewish.
Yeah, I assume that they're just misinputs, which if they are, it's unfortunate because he's been called out for it every time, and Arkdee's been able to get a relatively big punish. But we start to see Drewish now laying on the pressure as they start to both get up there in percent. But we're going to see the early down air as Drewish takes game 1. And that is a great comeback from Drewish, able to keep you calm, cool, and collected as you get into those situations where you're behind on percent. You have to do something to bring back that first game, which Drewish does with that down air.
Incredible timing too. Both of them being lifelong Palutena mains. This motion of knowing the timing is on every part of your character's moves just allowed Drewish to really nail it. Okay, you're still hittable. You still have a hurt box during this frame of your recovery before you teleport. So we're just going to punish that with a big boot to the top of your head.
They're just so knowledgeable. Like, obviously they understand their character better than any other, but especially in the mirror, it can sometimes feel a little bit awkward because playing as your character versus playing against it can sometimes feel pretty jarring, and we're seeing that. Both of them, we see the F smashes, which are likely just misinputs, but it shows that it's still awkward. You still aren't always going to have the same game plan against Apollo as you would another brawlerish character.
Absolutely. This is much more one of those mirrors where it's a lot more neutral, heavy, sort of back and forth. Whereas some dittos where it can feel almost like whoever gets the first thing started, or it can feel like a coin flip. I know for me, the Game & Watch ditto feels a lot like a coin flip. This, however, is going a lot more of like beating your opponent in honorable battle of combat.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing Arkdee right now laying on that corner pressure, finding the back air to take the stock at 150. That's something that we did see Arkdee and Noko as well, another very prominent Palu in this tournament, is that they sometimes would struggle to take earlier kills. Drewish, though, was able to consistently get early kills off of Butterkicks specifically with those up airs, with those down airs. But we are seeing that Arkdee's just able to now lap Drewish in percent, looking to take it back, saying, you got the first game, but I want to take it back. I want to show that I'm the better one.
so far, having to really fight for this comeback is Drewish. Has been stuck in that corner for so much of this game. Finally now getting back to center stage, and just as soon as you say it, they're just fighting for every inch on this stage.
Yeah, a big thing that this match was going to come down to is, you know, who can get those grabs. Palu doesn't really have the greatest ground game. Really, really strong aerials, of course, and able to find a lot off of it. But your ground game is really laggy. You don't get too much off of it except for, say, a dash attack. And so getting those grabs when the opponent wants to hold their shield is going to be key. We saw that Arkdee's been able to get a lot off of these, same with Drewish, but that backer in the corner is just such an impressive tool in the mirror match.
Yeah, there's, oh my, and looking for that up air again, not enough to do it off the top for Arkdee, but you're just seeing this movement game from Arkdee, the spacing to sort of bait Drewish into either dropping shield or whipping a grab, and now we're seeing this combo game from Arkdee as well, really put into work, something that we haven't seen like very much in the game one, where he was kind of dropping some nair loops. Yeah,
absolutely, but we're going to see Drewish take it with a dash attack. However, you have to do something in order to stay in this as Drewish. You have to find some way to claw your way back, an early kill, an early read, something. And these nair loops are absolutely going to help, but you need to do something that gets you a little bit more as Arkdee throws Drewish back into the corner, and that explosive lane is almost going to take it.
That's the issue with there being a mirror. Sometimes you confuse which player's which, and I feel like I've already done that quite a few times this set.
All good, all good.
It says right above their head, but only one of them is the real man.
Yeah, it can be confusing, especially because they have such similar skins, too.
Exactly. But that is Drewish in the corner with a great spot dodge. And it's just been the name of the game. Drewish fighting out of the corner to try and get any little scrap he can, especially in this game number 2, whereas Arkdee has just been relentless.
Yeah, and we're seeing Arkdee trying to take it now, trying to find it with, we saw the dash attack almost kill, and that is going to be it as Arkdee takes game number 2 with a commanding 2-stock, trying to tell Drewish that you got game 1, but I can't let you get that confident.
It seems to be a battle of corner pressure versus punish game. It's just whatever Drewish can get out of the corner and put Arkdee in disadvantage, you have to take it. He's taking everything he can, because he knows, like, if you falter for a split second, Arkdee's going to be on you again and put you right back in that corner, just because it's what he's so good at doing.
Absolutely. That is definitely Arkdee's biggest strength, is his ledge trapping. He's so proficient at it, but we've seen Drewish not only keep up in the ledge trapping, but also do very, very well at sharking Arkdee. Arguably a little bit better at that, at least in what we're seeing in these 2 games. As we get into game number 3, and we're kind of just playing a game of footsies right now.
Exactly. We're seeing some very aggressive calls as well from Drewish. I remember the last game is now this nair loop is starting to begin, but interrupting from Arkdee. Things like short hop up air out of shield to really call out an aggressive jump from your opponent. Really just loving that up air. We're going to see more of that sharking game come into play here.
Yeah, we're going to see Drewish try to sort of turn the tables here. Drewish, the main thing he was struggling with was just that finding that kill was really, really hard, and it let Arkdee get to really high with rage and kill you even earlier than you might be used to with those back airs in the corner.
Absolutely. Speaking of back airs in the corner, that's exactly what Drewish is looking for. Not going to get the grab.
Yeah, Arkdee's been doing a really good job all tournament of falling off stage with the nair so that the opponent can't really call out any super aggressive options. But Drewish is doing a great job at using the armor on the dash attack to get in as we put Arkdee back into the corner now.
Yeah, it seems to be a sort of a flip-flop from game 2 to game 3, where now it's just, there is no fighting in the center stage. All the fighting is going on in the corners between these 2. And underneath these platforms especially, they're just building a little house with no walls.
Absolutely. And that explosive flame clearly not going to take it. But we're going to see Drewish try to put Arkdee into the corner. However, we're going to see a reversal now. Arkdee trying to hold space and a great jab into grab, forcing Drewish to respect his grab game.
The things I think like down throw back air are almost too high percent at this point, but a dash attack out of nowhere is going to catch Drewish sleeping and take his first stock off the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And Drewish now trying to get his ones back, but these nairs are going to start to come out and just be really, really aggressive for Arkdee, trying to get as much extra credit as you can, possibly take a stock too.
You see the extensions Arkdee's going for that are just falling short. You got to wonder if that's just from Drewish aggressively SDIing these, or if it's just Arkdee not getting the spacing required to know what comes next in the big Palutena freeform combos.
Yeah, it's really, really hard when Palu just has such great mobility as well as 2 moves that you can't really contest that well with back air and dash attack. But a great tomahawk from Drewish, able to get the grab. Let's see if he can follow up and maybe take this kill, because this is a really, really bad position if you're Drewish, just because Arkdee's at such high percent with such a high amount of rage. So you have to find the kill early. But Arkdee just being so good with his defensive play.
Even at 166, not afraid to put the pressure on Drewish at ledge, knowing that you're at 115. You're also in kill range. So this just short hopping menacingly in his face, looking for the next big thing. But Nair just goes from one ledge to the other.
Yeah, we're seeing Arkdee just do such a good job of playing just outside of Drewish's burst range. We saw him do, I think it was 4 empty hops, running away to avoid the get-up attack. However, Arkdee not able to get the drag down Nair into up tilt, and Drewish saying, I'm going to take it with the dash attack.
It was definitely a cart before the horse moment where he was looking for the Nair, but just as soon as it didn't connect, you got to recognize there's no up tilt. Got to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. As Arkdee takes the second stock with the back air, and now these Nairs are going to come back online. Not able to turn it around, though, but sending Drewish into the corner where you're so proficient.
Actually did get the turnaround, but just the SDI from Drewish able to escape the first 2 hits of it. Now, we haven't seen this happen very much. They're fighting at center stage.
Yeah. We've seen them kind of really trade their advantage states, going corner to corner. Someone's able to get a reversal, someone's able to get a call out. But seeing them in the center stage is, I think that it's better for Drewish here. He's been doing a very good job at sharking Arkdee. However, Arkdee's just been a little bit more dominant in the corner.
Oh my goodness, what a call out from Drewish, and it almost worked out. And its whole match has the vibe of those boxing matches that are so even on the tails of the tape to how they're the records and everything. It just feels like one of those things where it's like a trying to remember, like a 5 to 6 kind of boxing match.
Yeah. And if you're Drewish, you're able to find the explosive flame, but you have to try and get something going here because that backer is just going to take it, dropping down from the halo and taking game number 3. What do you think Drewish has to do? Because it seems like Arkdee has started to figure out what he's looking for, what he wants. What does Drewish need to do to sort of come back into this game and breathe some life into his play?
Well, we're seeing cases of trying to play Arkdee's game of these ledge traps that, while very proficient in them, it's hard to match somebody of Arkdee's level when we've been emphasizing just how good he is at it this whole set. But you're seeing sort of that back and forth play. It all comes down to who is taking the first stock, because these first stocks between them have been going long. We've seen, a couple, surprising stock steals throughout them, but for the most part, each game has opened up with a very long-winded war of attrition to see who takes the first stock. And maybe that second stock is comes a bit quicker, or maybe comes a bit, not the, some say, a cheesy way, but for the most part, these are all like strong, long openings.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get a change of scenery as we move to Hollow Bastion. We're seeing Drewish start to put the pressure onto Arkdee, maybe looking to use that middle platform as a harder means for Arkdee to land. Again, using that sharking that he's so incredibly proficient at. But we're seeing Arkdee now putting Drewish into his domain, which is that corner. And just such a dominant performance coming out from Arkdee in the last 2 games. But Drewish not doing bad at all.
Yeah, see, right there, rolling in from ledge, made it onto stage, but still tried to contest or turn the game around on Arkdee by jumping into him, but Arkdee saw that. In that case, I think instead slow the game down. Let the game, take its time a bit more. Go back to center stage, make Arkdee approach you again, and reset neutral.
Yeah, and now we're going to see Drewish start to lay the pressure on Arkdee. The ledge trapping is coming alive for Drewish here. Looking to take a stock early, because one thing that we saw in the most previous game was that Drewish really struggled to take that first stock as Arkdee was living to 170, but we're starting to see the pressure come online now for Drewish, and we might be seeing Drewish take a lead now.
That's another big difference you're seeing from Arkdee from Drewish, is Arkdee is very content with whenever Drewish is like in that recovery range of sitting at ledge, throwing out down tilts and waiting to time the 2-frame. Whereas Drewish is much more akin to like jump away and sort of let Arkdee recover and then deal with the ledge option from there. But perhaps one of those misinput F smashes, worked out for Drewish there.
Yeah, it treated him really well there, but Arkdee able to come down from Halo and hit him with the backer again. And now we're in that position where someone's looking to open the other up, and it looks like Arkdee's going to get the first hit. Looking to get these Nairs online, putting Drewish back in the corner, and you don't have a jump anymore. You have to be really careful, but Drewish able to come back and able to start amplifying the pressure.
And in one moment, we are suddenly playing Smash 4 with 2 stocks apiece. As these two we've made so much thing of getting that first stock in the game, and now it pretty much became a non-factor as the two are just even again.
Absolutely, yeah. These two are they're so good with their characters. They understand all the little nuances. that you can do, and they are dead even here in percent. As we're seeing Arkdee put Drewish back into the corner, but getting reversaled, possibly getting punished for it as he calls out the recovery. Not able to get the conversion off of it, though.
That would have been the perfect time for Drewish to go for a little bit of mix-up and now go for that 2-frame down tilt. After your opponent is already, you got that surprise back air where they they have to recover again at an awkward angle. Take your time and just, that's where you got to get the mix-up to the down tilt.
Yeah, one thing we've been seeing a lot less of than other usual matches is neither player is really using that platform canceling up. Granted, a lot of that is because they haven't been playing in the center a lot as they trade explosive flames, but we might be seeing Drewish start to take his lead now. Not quite able to get it, but looking to end it off with the backer up air here.
And just more of that spacing game that we saw. Very, very prevalent and very good at these tomahawk grabs at ledge, but how is Arkdee going to do great spot dodge?
Yeah, both these players have done an incredible job at utilizing their dash attack as a way to open the other up, as we see Arkdee go for the runoff nair, something that he doesn't typically do. We usually see him be content with just, I'm going to try and 2-frame you, but now we're going to see Arkdee try and get as much extra credit as you can, but Drewish calling it out with the fadeaway back air.
That 154 to a last, what could be Drewish's winner side stock. This top 8 qualifiers that go into last stock apiece here, and there's so many levels of neutral that happen just from like Drewish short hopping in the corner. Playing 4D chess to try and get away and look for that next big opening from like a grab. Always keep you guessing from the 3 different options he has.
Absolutely, and we're starting to see Drewish use that center platform, something that we didn't see come into play too much early on into this game, but we're seeing that the change of scenery is really working out in Drewish's favor, able to use it as an extension for his combos.
Absolutely. Wow, teleporting directly through Drewish, get back to center stage. Talk about a mix-up. Haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and we see them dead even in percent once again. It is just such an even game.
2 boxers going blow for blow, punching each other at the same time.
Yeah, we're seeing 2 infighters absolutely slug it out, but the back air not able to fully prevent the nair from hitting, and we might be seeing Arkdee sending Drewish down to losers here, able to just keep up the pressure, but Drewish reversing the situation with the dash attack, and it's just scary.
Yep, short hops at ledge. How deep will it go? How deep do the mix-up layers go? Just standing there menacingly saying, move, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, Arkdee very, very good at applying pressure, but also being deceptively patient a lot of the time. As we're seeing Drewish start to put the pressure onto Arkdee now, trying to claw his way back into this game.
If you're Arkdee, though, you got to be careful. That's the same way you lost your 1 game to Drewish this set, was that you got overzealous with that up tilt.
We're seeing Drewish come in with the dash attack, trying to force it, waits for the air dodge, but not able to get too much off of it. But we're seeing Drewish, they're trading explosive flames now, and this could be it. Both of them trying to find an opening on the other, both at 140.
Good job from Arkdee being patient on that up tilt, but it's not enough to get a game 5 between Drewish and Arkdee. What else could you expect, really?
Yeah, you see it every time. You want them to go game 5. They're just so proficient in the Ditto, and they're able to figure out what the other wants. So you have to figure out where does Arkdee want to take Drewish, because you saw that Drewish was able to use that middle platform as a bit of a better extension, using more of your nairs to go through it. And we're going to see them go to Town and City now. Arkdee maybe looking to take some earlier stocks off the side. We saw that you were able to send Drewish off the side quite a bit more, but also that top ceiling, we saw that most of Drewish's kills were able to come off, especially with that last dash attack, came off of the low ceiling of Hollow. But as we get underway in our first game 5 of Top Cut.
Now you want to talk about a low ceiling. That is out of the question here as we go to Town and City, one of the tallest legal stages for these players. And already, you know the vibes. You got Arkdee with Drewish at the corner. How's this going to mix up? And the platform differences is going to really show how well Arkdee knows the ledge trap game. That high up platform, which allows Drewish a new avenue of recoveries. But there it goes as it just drifts off into the distance.
Absolutely, yeah. Those platforms, we're now getting to the flat stage of Town and City, and here it's just about how do you open the other up. As they're kind of just playing a strong game of footsies right now. The backer for Arkdee able to come out before Drewish's, sending Drewish into the corner now, and this is really scary.
This is, I cannot think of a more pure neutral moment than really what we're seeing here, as they're fighting everything just for that little opening. And so far, it's been all Arkdee just like you were saying, chomping and chipping away at Drewish's mental game right there is just too much pressure off stage, and he's going to just drift.
Yeah, Arkdee's been doing a very, very good job at forcing Drewish into more awkward angles to recover, but we're going to see Arkdee try to lay on the pressure with these nairs and try to just get as much trying to lap Drewish in percent here.
A big moment there that started this whole disadvantage state was just Drewish not capitalizing on a Arkdee roll-in, a very aggressive Arkdee roll-in. So Drewish got to be looking more careful on that kind of stuff as Arkdee really wants to put him away here in this game 5.
Yeah, we're seeing Drewish start to use more of those up smashes, trying to do something to take an early stock from Arkdee. You want to be able to force something out, and that might be it, but barely not able to kill. As we see Drewish not quite able to get the edge guard on Arkdee, but you might be able to get a kill here. Down throw, not able to fully come back.
Oh, wow. Didn't want to bet too many options on Arkdee aggressively landing on platform, so still had tried to chase him out there. But it worked out for Arkdee in the end, still holding a stock lead, and now has Drewish at kill percent on his second one, but it's going to be back throw at ledge to get him out of here.
Yeah, Drewish doing a really good job at recognizing that Arkdee doesn't want to DI too aggressively. You don't want to DI in due to the fact that you could die just in up air afterwards. Doing a great job of recognizing that and forcing Arkdee into an awkward situation, but now we're seeing Drewish start to lay on the percent with these up airs.
That's a huge early percent combo to really try and get Drewish back into this. 44% is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you have to take every inch you can get.
Absolutely, and we're seeing Drewish claw his way back in, and all of a sudden, we're getting to an even game here.
I forgot Rossetti has like a brother. That's very thin, Mr. Rossetti. Oh, Arkdee drops on back air.
Yeah, and now you were on Drewish's winner's side tournament stock, and you start to see Arkdee laying on the pressure more and more. And if you're Drewish, you want to try and find some way to come back in, but you can't be too over-aggressive and overextend into Arkdee.
This is one of those moments where Arkdee just really smells blood in the water, but now the platform's coming in to save Drewish, give Arkdee, and give him more avenues to recover and mix up.
Yeah, we're seeing Arkdee do a little bit more just waiting, not even empty hopping, just saying, I know that you want to pick an option, and I'm just going to wait and see what you do.
Yep, and well as reading that platform cancel, but now what can Drewish do to open him up? All right, gets off stage. No, that was Arkdee. Like, more of the dittos messing me up.
It's hard.
It's tough, and they're moving so fast, and Drewish still has red on his dress for some reason.
Yeah, it is hard. But you're seeing Arkdee barely not able to kill with the up air, lapping Drewish in percent, and you have to find some way back if you're Drewish, putting Arkdee into the corner. But Arkdee has just been so good with these more aggressive recoveries that up tilt barely not going to take it as Drewish throws Arkdee back into the corner, trying to find some way to claw back into this game.
Arkdee knows that up tilt is probably one of the best options in this case with this percent, but he's really struggling to land it.
Yeah, and now we're seeing both players' shields start to get really, really low, and you might see a back air or a nair poke as we are going to see Arkdee take it in a Game 5 win over Drewish. What a phenomenal match between those two.
What else could you expect from these two?